All right, so let's go ahead and dive deeper into typography variables. And this one is a little complicated, but I found a simple way to do this and using like styles along with the variables. Figma seems to be, they recently launched the typography support and it's still like work in progress. But we still kind of like have can build a system of typography using variables. So to start with, again, for everything we need a foundation. So this is going to be the base scale. So if you go to any of the plugins here, and doesn't matter which plugin you pick, so we can pick a plugin, type scale, and then you'll be able to generate a type scale from here. So when you click on it, it will generate this type scale for you, and then this will have all the foundational value 49, 39, 25, 20, 16, 13, 10, and everything. This is going to be your foundational scale. So now when you look at that, so let's keep it there because we're going to reference that later. So if you look at like a text, right, say hello. So if you look at any text, right, let's say design quest. Let's take a look at it. It has a font, that's the font family, because we're gonna like document all that in soon. And then it has a font weight. This is a font weight. And then we have the size of the variable, font size, and then line height and everything. So, but for now, we just need to document this font family, font size, and font weight. All right. So let's create a system of that. So let's see an example here. So we have font family, font size, and then we have font weight. Let's start with the font family. Hope that, does not overwhelm you. Just start with like follow this like checklist. Document font family, size, and weight for now. And then we're going to apply this to the font styles and everything. So let's go ahead and create a new collection. So let's name, not this one, create a new collection. So, and let's name it as type tokens. You can name it typography tokens or anything. So let's document the font family. So now we're going to learn this concept of string. String is it's like a programming word. It's a collection of like words and things. So let's name this as font family. All right. And now I'm also going to show you how to group things later and everything. So here you can see, here you can type and the spelling needs to be correct. So let's make this as a DM Sans. All right. And then let's name it as DM Sans. The spelling needs to be correct. So this needs to match this one. Now we documented the font family. So now that since we have that, we can go ahead here and then check here and you'll be able to see the font family that has appeared here and you can apply that over here this way. So that's how you kind of like document the font family. Now let's create a string variable because for the font family, it's a word. It's a series of characters. That's why a string instead of a number. We're going to name this as font family. And let's name it as font name. And then let's write the font whichever you want. Make sure the spelling is correct. Even if you get the spelling wrong, like San instead of Sans, it's not gonna work. So make sure you document that correctly and then it will appear here. Later I'll show you how to apply, similarly how we applied in our previous lessons and everything. So now let's go ahead and create font sizes because if you see in our checklist, we need to have font family, size. So let's go ahead and create font size. For that we need number. So let's name it as font size. Let's make it font font size 100. So you can choose different naming convention you want, and we can document all of them. Here we can take a look at this example here, how we have done previously. We have fonts as 12, 14, 16, 24, 32, 48, 56 and 64 and everything. You can create like your own scale, or you can take the scale from here based on whatever the values you want. And do not worry, because you can always kind of like keep changing them. That's why they are variable. So we can start with like 10 and then duplicate it this to 200 is 13, and then duplicate this to 16, duplicate this to 20, and now we have 300, 400. So this way you can create like different font sizes. We'll just create this for now, and then next we need to have font weight. So we can create a number again. So let's name it as font weight, and then slash font weight. Let's name it as medium. Okay, so now I'm going to show you a trick in order to create the font weight. So we are creating medium, bold, medium and bold, and maybe regular. Depends on what you want, but those are the most common. All right, so I'll show you a trick. So let's say I'm going to apply this bold here, and then you want to know there's a number associated with it. If you go to the dev mode, you'll be able to see this as 700. So a bold is considered 700. So we can go to the Figma variable here and bold as 700. And then now let's go ahead and change this to medium and take a look at that. It's 500. Yeah, just follow along with me as you kind of look through this, and it will give you an idea how to build it. And then regular, that is 400. So now let's go to the variable and complete it, and then 400. So we created the documentation of a typography variable. You're doing nothing but you're documenting a range of values. The text can go from 10 to 20, right? So you're documenting the range of value, and this is the foundation. You can also add the line height, line weight and everything, but these are the core foundation part of your type scale. So we're going to document that. So now that we have that defined, so now what we can do is we can create like how we had like the tokens for the color. We're going to create like different categories of types. We can create a different categories, and we can kind of leverage this as a use case while designing. For example, if you, let's say you have a website, the header is like a display and the body has a specific size, and you are just consistently repeating that throughout the product or the website you are designing. So we're gonna I'm gonna give you this template. You can use this. We have display, links, title. These are like use cases. Like this is the foundation what we built just now, and these are the use cases. When I say use cases, for like a button will have certain font size everywhere, so it becomes like a button text or a link text. The display header will have a similar header. There's gonna be a display, so you can document it that way. And you can keep changing it based on your preference with type scale. Most of the time it's remains same for mobile, web, and they have their own type scale and everything. So we're gonna take a look at the display. So instead of going to the typography variable and creating that, it creates a lot of complications here. So what we're gonna do is we are going to create that in the styles here. So before variables we used to have styles. So let's go ahead and create a text and then let's name it as display, and then make it as display 50, right? Okay, now let's go ahead and okay, now we have this different use cases: a display, title, links, subtitle, body, and caption. We're gonna learn how to do that. Maybe we delete the display and we'll create that here. So let me delete this 5 styles and let's create display. So we are creating this to document what the display values are. So whenever you are using like a header, you can just use the display. So let's go and create local variable. Let's select on text and let's name as display, and then slash display 50. All right, so now you'll be able to see, you can move this around as well, and here we have display 50. You can keep adding it here. So once you click on this plus mark here, you'll be able to see display instead of 50 40. And if you click on, it will add the externally. If you click on here plus, it adds the internally in the structure. Here you can see it by default give you that. So we have display 20, and then let's do display 5. Okay, so add the values here. So let's go to the properties and then go to apply variable, and we can apply font family as DM sans. So once that applied, and in the future if the font changes, right, you can just update it and it updates throughout the design. And then let's do apply variable here. So we want the display font to be regular. So look at this reference and can I do it, and you can always like use different ways, different design systems and different ways of doing it, but this one is the most simplest one. So we have regular that's applied as 400, and then the font size is 64. So let's go to the variables and click on 64. It does not come. Yeah, font size 64. Okay, I applied it that, right? So one second, I apply it here. So we have documented that value. So now every time I want to, let's say hello Figma expert, right? This is like our, let's say this is our header text on the website, and now we can go ahead and apply the font typography style display 50. So here you can see it applied that properties here, so it kind of takes that shape. So now let's say in the future the company decides to change their typography. Let's say the company decide to change their font and everything. So rewind and do it. So now let's go to our typography variable, and instead of DM sans, if we go and change it to SF Pro, here you can see it changes here because we just changed it here. So this is the most valuable thing about the typography variable, is like once you change anything here, it's gonna impact the entire product. So it's super helpful to do that, and I can play with this whole day. And then so here you can see you can go here and apply all the variables from here. So go here, similar process, and then here you can go on apply and then apply different variables. So instead of selecting this, apply variables, and then you can change font weight to medium, and then you'll be able to apply it from here. Similarly, create all of them from here: display, title, links and subtitle and everything. Create this category and apply that from the main design system. So just to kind of like summarize, this can get a little complicated, but then if you try building one system, you'll get able to get the sense of it. So have the foundations of a type, right? The type, scale, font, type, scale, the font and the weight and everything. And after that, create the styles, right? Styles here, and then apply those like variables value to those things. And then whenever the changes happen in the main, right, main folder, it impacts the display. So you can leverage this template and then create that style here, text style, and then add those variable. So that's about the typography variable. Try to create one or two of them and you'll get used to it. And whenever you're designing, you can just reference everything from here. So that's about the typography variable. And the next lesson, we are going to look into different modes. This is going to be super fun of creating light mode, dark mode, and compact, and the large card size and everything. And I'll see you in the next lesson.